There are moments in life when the ordinary disguises the extraordinary so perfectly that most of us walk past it, unaware that we are standing at the threshold of a mystery. A wagging tail, the gentle rhythm of paws against the ground, the sudden stillness when two eyes meet yours. These seem like simple fragments of daily life, yet they are the entrance to a doorway few dare to open. What if the dog that walks beside you is not merely a loyal companion, but a silent messenger sent by forces far older and wiser than you can imagine? What if every bark, every glance, every quiet presence at your feet is a sacred text written in a language beyond words? Rudolf Steiner once suggested that nothing in the universe is random, that what we call coincidence is simply an unseen law revealing itself. When a dog finds its way into your life, it is not chance, it is appointment. Somewhere in the invisible web of spirit, a thread was pulled, and suddenly you and this creature, this soul wrapped in fur, were brought together. Do you truly believe it was just adoption paperwork, just a casual choice? Or do you feel, somewhere deeper, that it was a calling? The truth hidden beneath the surface is that dogs carry a vibration tuned precisely to the human soul. They come when we are ready, not when we expect. They stand at thresholds, between loneliness and connection, between pain and healing, between despair and a new form of joy. And in that meeting, the ordinary dissolves and something eternal stirs. It is easy to underestimate this. After all, they cannot speak our language. They cannot explain themselves in the abstractions we love so much. Yet their silence is not absence. It is presence distilled. Through their gaze, through the resonance of their being, they open doors in us we have long since locked. Perhaps you have noticed, when you sit in sorrow, your dog is not restless. He does not grow impatient with your silence. Instead, he lies near, steady, a pulse of quiet love that steadies your own breath. Perhaps you have seen how his tail lifts not just when you return home, but when you rise from a chair, when you stir at night, when you so much as turn your face toward him. This is not instinct alone. It is recognition. He knows you in a way deeper than your name, deeper than your role, deeper even than your thoughts. He knows the vibration of your being, and in this recognition, something miraculous happens. He begins to heal, not through remedies, not through reason, but through presence. Like a crystal tuning itself to a hidden frequency, he absorbs the turbulence within you and reflects it back as calm. He is a mirror, yes, but more than that, he is an alchemist. What is heavy in you becomes light in his company. What is closed in you begins to open in his gaze. I want to pause here for a moment and speak directly to you. If you are listening, and you have ever felt that mysterious bond with your dog, or perhaps with another animal who chose you, you already know that this is not sentimental fancy. It is the truth of the heart. And if this truth resonates with you, if you feel that these words are awakening something you have quietly sensed all along, then I invite you to stay with me on this journey. Please, take a moment to subscribe to this channel, to like this video, and to share your own story in the comments below. Your voice matters, and together we are weaving a community of souls who know there is more to life than what appears on the surface. Now, let us continue. According to Steiner, dogs are not bound by the same heavy layers of ego that weigh upon us. Through lifetimes, we humans have collected masks, defenses, and illusions. We hide our essence behind the scaffolding of personality. The dog, however, remains transparent. His soul is like a river that has never been dammed, flowing freely from its source. This is why you sense purity in him, why his eyes seem untouched by the cynicism of the world. He has chosen, on some level we may never fully grasp, to walk alongside humanity, to share his clarity where ours has become clouded. Every time you stroke his fur and feel your heartbeat slowing, every time you meet his gaze and sense time pausing, you are touching the essence of what spiritual teachers call presence. Your dog is not rushing toward the future, nor is he chained to the past. He is wholly here, and by being wholly here, he teaches you how to return to the moment you so often abandon. Imagine for a moment that your dog is not simply yours, but that he is a guide, a teacher dressed in familiar form. His lessons are not delivered in sermons, but in gestures. When he greets you at the door, as though it were the first and last moment of his life, he is showing you the sacredness of presence. When he curls beside you in silence, he is reminding you that love does not always require words. And when he runs, ears streaming in the wind, he is revealing to you the forgotten ecstasy of being alive. These are not mere behaviors to be admired. They are transmissions of being. Through them, your own soul remembers what it once knew but has long forgotten. That joy is not earned, it is inherent. That love is not bargained, it is given. That life at its core is not complication, but simplicity infused with wonder. And so, when a dog steps into your life, you are not merely gaining a pet, you are entering a covenant. In this covenant, you are given the chance to heal, to awaken, and to remember. The dog asks for nothing but your presence, and in exchange, he offers you the keys to your own heart. This is only the beginning of the journey we will take together. For what unfolds when we look deeper into the soul of the dog is nothing less than a revelation of cosmic love itself. Stay with me, for in the chapters ahead, the invisible will be made visible, and the presence curled at your feet will reveal itself as one of your greatest teachers. There is a quiet alchemy that unfolds when a dog enters the rhythm of your life. At first, it feels like companionship. Shared walks, shared meals, the warmth of another presence in the silence of your home. Yet as days turn into months, and months into years, you begin to sense that something more profound is at work. The dog is not simply alongside you. He is within the very fabric of your existence, weaving threads of healing you did not know you needed. Rudolf Steiner once spoke of the etheric body, the luminous field of life force that sustains every living being. In humans, this body is often clouded by centuries of karmic burden, by the heavy layers of thought and emotion that cling like mist to a mountain. But in dogs, the etheric remains startlingly pure, untouched by the weight of personal ego. It is as though their very presence carries the memory of creation's first light. And when they stand beside you, that light brushes against your own weary spirit. Have you ever noticed how your breathing shifts when your dog rests his head on your lap? The restless chatter of the mind slows. The heart, once clenched by worry, begins to loosen. You are not imagining this. The dog is not merely offering comfort. On a subtle level, he is dissolving the frozen knots of energy that have lodged themselves in your aura, often for years. His touch, his gaze, even his simple nearness creates ripples through your inner field. Old wounds, long buried, begin to rise, not in pain, but in release. The dog does not analyze or diagnose. He does not judge. He simply allows his vibration, clear and steady, to enter your system, and in that resonance, your being remembers wholeness. This is why so many speak of their dogs as healers, even without understanding the mechanics of it. Healing does not always require rituals or medicine. Sometimes it requires only the presence of a soul who remembers what we have forgotten. And your dog remembers. He remembers that you are more than the weight you carry. He remembers that beneath your grief, beneath your stories, there is an essence that cannot be broken. When you sit in silence and feel his steady breath syncing with your own, you are experiencing this remembrance. You are being reminded of the truth, that you are not your wounds, but the light that survives them. Steiner suggested that animals serve as messengers of cosmic love, flowing through the natural world into the human heart. In dogs, this stream is especially strong, for they have chosen, over thousands of years, not to live apart from us, but to live with us, to bind their fate to ours. This choice was not only physical, but spiritual. Through their lineage, through their domestication, they became bridges between humanity and the wild soul of nature. That bridge is not symbolic. It is energetic. When your dog curls at your feet as you write, or walks beside you in the early dawn, he is uniting the primal heartbeat of the earth with the complex rhythm of your mind. He reminds you that you are not merely a thinker, not merely a worker, not merely a seeker. You are also a creature of the living cosmos, woven into its breathing fabric. And here lies the true miracle. Through your dog's simplicity, you are brought back to your own depths. He does not speak in doctrines or scriptures, but in joy. Watch him greet you at the door as though you were the miracle he had awaited all day. Watch him leap into life, chasing a falling leaf with the same reverence you reserve for sacred texts. These are not trivialities. They are lessons in disguise. Through them, he teaches you to rediscover awe. Yet the dog's mission is not only to awaken joy, it is to wash away fear. Notice how he meets your sadness, not with avoidance, not with distraction, but with presence. If you have ever cried in the company of your dog, you know he does not flee your tears. He leans closer, his eyes soften, his body stills, and something in you feels held by a force that does not ask you to be different. That is love in its purest form, the kind of love that does not fix or change, but simply abides. Through this abiding, the dog teaches the greatest secret of healing. That transformation begins not in resistance, but in acceptance. The knots in your heart begin to loosen, not when you push them away, but when you allow them to be seen. And your dog sees them. He sees all of you, your fears, your doubts, your hidden griefs, and he stays. This is why his presence is medicine. Think of the countless souls who have whispered, "My dog saved me." Often, they do not mean from a single crisis, but from the slow erosion of spirit that life can bring. The dog becomes a daily anchor, a reminder that love exists in its simplest and most unbreakable form. And that reminder, repeated day after day, becomes salvation. Steiner hinted that such relationships are karmic, that the dog who comes into your life may be more than a chance companion. Perhaps you walk together in another age, in another form. Perhaps this soul has chosen once again to meet you here, to repay a bond of love, to complete a promise. That would explain the uncanny recognition many feel when they look into their dog's eyes, as though greeting an old friend from beyond time. Whatever the origin, the effect is undeniable. Your dog is not only your companion, but your teacher. He teaches patience when he stops to sniff the earth as if it were a holy scripture. He teaches surrender when he sleeps without anxiety, wrapped in trust. He teaches loyalty not as obligation, but as joy. And in teaching, he transforms. One day you may realize that your laughter has become freer, that your silence has become softer, that your heart has grown larger. And you will trace this change not to books or lectures, but to the daily miracle of a creature who asked for nothing and gave you everything. This is the healer in disguise, the four-legged sage whose sermons are written not in words, but in presence. And when you finally understand the depth of this presence, you will know. The dog who walks beside you is not only your friend, he is a fragment of the cosmos itself, wrapped in fur, breathing with you, guiding you back to the truth of who you are. There are times when the bond between human and dog feels so uncanny, so immediate, that words like pet or ownership seem almost insulting. It is as though the meeting was destined, arranged by something greater than either of you, and in that gaze, yours into his his into yours, you sense the trembling of eternity. Steiner suggested that such encounters are never random. He spoke of karma not merely as law, but as relationship, as threads weaving through lifetimes, binding souls together across ages. What if the dog who leans against your knee tonight is not simply an animal, but a companion from another time? What if he has walked with you before, perhaps not in this form, but in another, and chose to return now, clothed in fur, to walk with you again? Such thoughts may seem fanciful at first, but they explain the unexplainable recognition so many feel, that strange certainty that I know this being. It is a recognition deeper than memory, a familiarity carved not in the brain, but in the soul. Dogs carry this mystery in their eyes. Look long enough, and you may feel that he sees not only who you are, but who you were, and even who you might yet become. It is as though he stands outside of time, holding all versions of you in his quiet acceptance. This is why his gaze can undo you, why tears may rise unbidden when you lean into his presence. You are being seen at a level beyond words, and in that seeing lies a message. For dogs are not only companions, they are messengers. They bring whispers from realms you cannot yet enter, carrying vibrations from higher hierarchies of being. Steiner described the animal kingdom as a conduit for cosmic forces, each species transmitting certain qualities into the human realm. In dogs, that force is love, raw, unconditional, unwavering. Through them, love flows directly from the universal heart into yours. But their role does not end with love alone. Dogs are also guides into perception. They sense what you overlook. Long before a storm gathers, they become restless. Long before conflict reaches words, they feel the tension humming in the air. Their ears prick, their bodies stiffen, and you realize they are reading a language you have forgotten. For them, the world is not only visible and audible, it is vibrational. Every field, every current of energy is felt. By living beside them, you are invited to reawaken this lost capacity. When you begin to notice not only what your dog does, but why he does it, when you pause to feel the subtle energies he responds to, you begin to remember that you too are more than 5 senses. You begin to sense the web beneath appearances, the hum of reality itself. In this way, your dog is not merely teaching you to care for him, he is teaching you to care for the unseen within yourself. Think of how often your dog pauses, staring into spaces you call empty. Perhaps you laugh, perhaps you shrug, but what if he is perceiving layers beyond your sight? What if his stillness is not confusion but recognition, that he sees the presence of life where your eyes register none? Steiner believed that animals often dwell closer to spiritual realms than we do, precisely because they lack the density of ego that clouds our vision. They are translucent, and through them, light passes. In this sense, Your dog is a messenger of worlds. He carries with him the fragrance of the invisible, and if you are willing to listen, not with ears, but with heart, you may hear what he brings. Sometimes it is comfort, sometimes warning, sometimes only presence. But always it is truth, unfiltered, untamed. And perhaps this is why the role of the dog is so singular. Cats, too, are mysterious. Horses, too, carry ancient wisdom. But dogs have chosen proximity. They do not wander in independence, nor do they remain aloof. They draw close, willingly binding themselves to human fate. This nearness, physical and spiritual, is what makes them unique messengers. They are not distant sages who visit. They are daily companions who remain. Their wisdom is not delivered in rare visions, but in ordinary moments, feeding, walking, resting. The sacred is hidden in the familiar. When you begin to perceive this, your view of life changes. You no longer dismiss the everyday as trivial. You see in your dog's joy a lesson in gratitude. You see in his silence a lesson in stillness. You see in his devotion a lesson in trust. And through these lessons you realize that the spiritual world is not far away, not a separate realm beyond reach. It is here, breathing beside you, resting at your feet, watching you with ancient eyes. There is another mystery here, one that may shake you if you let it. Some believe that dogs, in their loyalty, sometimes take upon themselves burdens meant for their humans. Have you noticed how sickness, tension, or sorrow in a household often seems mirrored in the dog's body, as though he absorbs what you cannot carry, processing it through his own being? If this is true, and many spiritual healers affirm it, then the dog is not only a messenger, but also a guardian, shielding you at great cost to himself. If so, what gratitude is due to such a companion? What reverence should we hold for one who loves so deeply he would carry your shadow to spare you? And if that is his mission, what is yours in return? Perhaps it is to love him with the same purity. Perhaps it is to honor the life force flowing through him, to treat every walk, every touch, every shared silence as the sacrament it is. For in truth, the relationship is mutual. As he teaches and heals you, you also lift him. By opening your heart, by offering him care and tenderness, you elevate his soul along its own path of becoming. This is the hidden contract. He descends to guide you, and in guiding, he too ascends. This is why your bond feels sacred. It is not one-sided. It is a dance, two beings exchanging light across the veil of form. Each gives, each receives, each is transformed. When you begin to live with this awareness, even the simplest moments shimmer. The morning walk becomes pilgrimage. The feeding bowl becomes offering. The quiet night together becomes a temple. Through your dog, the mundane is transfigured into the divine, And so, the next time you meet his gaze, remember, you are not looking into the eyes of just an animal. You are looking into a messenger of worlds, a being who has chosen out of love to share his journey with you. In his silence, you are hearing echoes of eternity. In his presence, you are being called home. There is a truth that every dog carries within its heartbeat, a truth we resist but cannot escape. Their time with us is shorter than we wish. From the first day they enter our lives, the clock begins to tick, not as a cruel warning, but as a gentle reminder that all love is bound to the rhythm of impermanence. It is here, in this tender paradox, that one of the dog's greatest teachings is revealed. Dogs live as though they do not know of death. They leap, they love, they sleep, they dream, each day embraced without hesitation, without clinging to tomorrow. Yet within them is a wisdom far deeper than appearances suggest. By embodying joy without fear of ending, they show us how to live. They remind us that the measure of life is not length, but depth, not duration, but intensity. And so the time comes, inevitably, when their muzzles whiten, when their gait slows, when sleep lasts longer than play. These changes are not accidents of biology alone. They are part of the sacred lesson. For in witnessing their aging, we are invited to face our own. In holding their fragility, we are invited to accept our own. The dog becomes in his final years a mirror of mortality, yet without despair. His eyes remain soft, his loyalty unbroken. He teaches us to meet the end not with fear, but with grace. Many have said that their hardest day was the day they said goodbye to their dog. And yet, even in that heartbreak, something luminous shines. For what remains after the final breath is not absence, but presence transfigured. The love does not die. It does not fade. It shifts form, entering a subtler realm, but it remains as steady as ever. In the silence of the house, in the echo of footsteps no longer there, the bond lingers, sometimes felt as a warmth, sometimes as a memory so vivid it seems alive. Rudolf Steiner spoke often of the continuation of relationships beyond death. The bonds forged in love are not severed by mortality. They extend into the spiritual worlds, where souls meet again in ways we cannot yet fully understand. This is as true for animals as it is for humans. The dog you mourn does not vanish into nothingness. His essence continues, his loyalty unbroken, his love eternal. Many have felt this, moments when they sense their dog's presence long after he has passed, a brush of fur against the leg, a dream so real it feels like a visit. These are not illusions, they are communications across the veil. In this way, your dog prepares you. He prepares you for the truth that love is stronger than death. He trains your heart to trust what the eyes cannot see, to feel what the hands cannot touch. In grieving him, you awaken to the knowledge that the spiritual bond is not fragile, but indestructible. It is perhaps the most difficult lesson he teaches, to love fully, knowing the end will come. Yet this is also the most liberating lesson. For when you learn to love without clinging, when you learn to embrace the moment without demanding it last forever, you touch eternity within time. That is the secret of transience, not loss, but depth. Think of how your dog greets you at the door. Each time, it is as though he has forgotten that you ever left. Each reunion is the first, the greatest, the only. He does not measure his joy, nor does he save it for later. He spends it all, here and now. And so he teaches you, spend your love while you can. Do not hoard it. Do not postpone it. Pour it out freely, as if every meeting were the last, because one day it will be. And when that day comes, you will not regret the love you gave. In truth, your dog's life is a condensed parable of human existence. We too are brief. We too walk a path that begins and ends within the span of time. But unlike us, dogs do not waste their days in anxiety over the future or regret over the past. They live the secret we struggle to grasp, that the present is enough. This is why when the farewell comes, you may find yourself transformed. Though grief cuts deep, beneath it lies gratitude. Gratitude for the gift of having known such purity, for the blessing of being seen and loved without condition. In that gratitude, you glimpse eternity. You realize that what mattered was not how long you had, but that you had it at all. And then, slowly, the pain softens. It does not disappear, but it becomes companionable. The absence becomes presence of another kind, an invisible thread woven into your being. You carry your dog forward within you. His lessons shape your choices. His love opens your heart to others. His memory becomes an inner compass, reminding you to live as he lived, joyfully, presently, lovingly. Some say that when the soul crosses the threshold of death, it is met by familiar beings who guide it onward. Perhaps when your time comes, it will be your dog waiting, eyes shining, tail wagging, ready to walk beside you once more. Perhaps he will lead you across the fields of eternity with the same devotion he showed you in life. Whether or not this image is literal, the truth it carries is undeniable. The love between you is immortal. It was not confined to flesh and bone. It was and is an expression of the universal love that sustains the cosmos itself. Your dog's brief life was a window through which that eternal force shone, and now that window lives inside you. So when the grief feels heavy, remember this: he did not leave you. He completed his mission. He came to teach you how to love without fear, how to live without clinging, how to trust the invisible bonds that hold all life together. And now his teaching continues within you, Every time you offer kindness without expecting reward, every time you sit in stillness and let the present moment be enough, every time you love with all your heart, even knowing it may end, you honor him. His spirit is there, rejoicing, wagging, leaping with joy, because he knows his mission was fulfilled. This is the lesson of transience, that endings are not failures, but gateways, that love does not diminish when life fades, it expands, and that by daring to love a dog fully, you have glimpsed the secret of existence itself, that the divine speaks most clearly not through permanence, but through the fleeting beauty of a single, wholehearted moment. When you look back across the years, you may realize that your dog's presence was never a small thing. It was not just companionship, not just comfort, not even just love. It was initiation. Quietly, without fanfare, your dog initiated you into mysteries you could never have discovered alone. Through him, you learned presence. Through him, you learned joy. Through him, you learned the fragile beauty of transience. And through him, you learned that love, real, unconditional love, is the force that sustains the cosmos itself. Rudolf Steiner often described love as the greatest power in the universe, greater than any physical law, stronger than death itself. If this is true, then dogs are among its clearest ambassadors. They do not philosophize about love. They embody it. They do not preach about devotion. They live it. Their mission is not to speak, but to transmit. And what they transmit is nothing less than the pulse of creation. Think for a moment about the transformation they bring. You begin your journey with them thinking you are the teacher. You will train them, guide them, shape their behavior. But over time, you discover the reversal. They are training you. They are teaching you to open your heart, to soften your defenses, to trust the unseen. They are teaching you to step outside the narrow prison of ego and remember the vastness of your own soul. This reversal is not accidental. It is their mission. The cosmic law is simple. What we give, we become. And through your dog, you learn to give love without calculation. He asks for no reward beyond your presence. He requires no perfection from you. He meets you where you are, as you are, and still he stays. This constancy carves channels in your being, widening your capacity to love others, not only humans, but all forms of life. You find yourself noticing the bird song, the rustle of leaves, the quiet dignity of strangers. Your heart, expanded by your dog's teaching, begins to beat in rhythm with the wider world. This is no small change. It is the seed of what Steiner called Christ consciousness, the awakening of universal compassion, the recognition that the divine lives in all beings. Dogs prepare us for this awakening. They show us in miniature what it feels like to love without condition. And once we taste that, we cannot return unchanged. Perhaps this is why your dog's gaze sometimes feels more than earthly. Perhaps this is why his silence sometimes feels like prayer. Through him the universe is speaking. Love is the path. Love is the purpose. Love is the law. Every wag of his tail is an affirmation. Every breath he shares with you is a reminder. Every moment you hold him close is a spark of eternity burning through time. But the mission does not end with him. This is the most humbling realization. Your dog is not only here to serve you, he is here to awaken something in you that must then be given to the world. The love you learn from him is not meant to stop with him. It is meant to flow outward, into your family, your community, your planet. You become, through him, a new messenger. This is how the cosmic plan unfolds. The dog transmits to you. You transmit to others. The circle of love widens, rippling through generations, through lives. In this way, a single bond between a human and a dog becomes part of a vast web of transformation stretching across the earth. Every act of kindness inspired by that bond, every moment of compassion, every word of forgiveness is the continuation of your dog's mission. And so, you are changed. You are no longer the same person you were before he came. His lessons live in your gestures, in your silences, in the way you meet others. You carry him with you, not only in memory, but in being. His soul is imprinted on yours, and through you, his light continues to shine. This is why dogs matter, not just to households, not just to lonely hearts, but to humanity itself. They are the bearers of a truth too simple for us to grasp on our own, that love is enough. They strip away the layers, the distractions, the complexities, until all that remains is presence and love. And in that stripped-down simplicity, we remember. You may wonder then, what becomes of your dog's spirit when his mission with you is complete? Steiner would say that he continues to walk with you in the spiritual world, guiding you, supporting you, waiting for the day when paths cross again. But even beyond that, his essence contributes to the evolution of the whole. The love he awakened in you does not die with him. It becomes part of the living stream of cosmic love flowing through all beings. His mission expands, because through you it multiplies. And so, when you walk now through the world, you carry not only your own soul, but the soul of your dog, alive in your heart. Every act of tenderness you give is his act. Every moment of compassion you extend is his moment. You are his legacy. You are the continuation of his sacred work. This realization can fill you with both humility and gratitude. For what greater gift could the universe send than a teacher disguised in fur? A sage who never spoke a word, yet altered your life forever. What greater honor than to be chosen as the companion of such a being? What greater mission than to continue the love he embodied, extending it into every corner of the world? So let us end where we began, with the gaze of a dog. The next time you meet those eyes, do not see just an animal. See the universe gazing back at you, reminding you that you are loved, that you are capable of love, and that love is the very fabric of existence. Let that gaze change you. Let it awaken you. Let it guide you into the life you were always meant to live. For in truth, your dog has never been merely a companion. He has been a messenger of the cosmos, a healer of your heart, a guide to your soul. His mission has been to show you what unconditional love feels like so that you may become its vessel. And now, the mission is yours. Carry it well. Carry it with joy. Carry it with the same loyalty and devotion he once carried for you. In doing so, you honor him. In doing so, you fulfill your part in the great cosmic plan. And when the world feels heavy, when your spirit feels dim, remember this. Somewhere in the silence of eternity, your dog is still running toward you, tail wagging, eyes shining, love pouring like a river without end.